G'day, how you going? Ian Apples here, Acrylic Guru. Welcome to my video where I'm going to show you that you can do it in acrylic. There's the size of my canvas there, and I will also get some colours running up the screen. This is going to be just something that it's so simple but such effective on the canvas. Okay, so let's go. So with this canvas, I want to prime the whole lot up in this craft paint. I call it craft paint, but look at that, it's just soft potted titanium white. I want enough on my palette to prime up the whole canvas, and I want to get some retarder in there as well. This is clear retarder. Look at it, it looks like baby oil, but it's not baby oil. It's just a clear drying retarder. It slows the drying time down of your acrylic paints. And we'll get this mixed up together with my putter on a brush, just so as this will slow down the drying time of the colours I put there. I like to mix with my putter on a brush because it don't muck around. It's a lot quicker than a knife. So I want to get the whole canvas primed up in this. Now I've got that on my canvas. I just want to stroke it left and right and get it to a nice even thin film across my canvas there. Take your time in doing this. Wipe your brush if you have to. Look what's in my brush. I've just wiped it all out, and then I'll put this left and right again and get a thin film ready to put my background colours on. So for me sky, I've got phthalo blue, and then we'll darken it with some dioxine purple around the edges. So I want this pretty much here first. I'll concentrate on getting it there. Look at that big cross. Look at that. Just looks like a basket weave. Okay, that was pretty simple. You can do that. Now look at everything in my brush. It's pushed up that way. So I'll simply go to that part of the brush and push it on. Now what I'm going to do is just simply stroke this left and right again, getting that vibe going. I'm not worried about the edges because that's going to be dioxine purpled up. Okay, so I'm just coming to the tip of my brush now and getting that tip blended with this brush. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to wipe this and add the dioxine. Well, to make things easier for myself, I just washed it. Now I'm loading up both sides of it so I can load it onto the canvas. Now because this dark paint is on my brush, if I brush it into there, I can't control where it goes and it's going to mix up too much. So what I want to do is simply stamp this on where I want my dioxine. So first I want it right against the edge there. Look what's happened there. I've got some water on there, but I'm going to blend that anyway. So that's why you never... I'll just grab a drier brush to see if I can just paint that out. There we go. Now I want to get this dioxine stamped into the sky where I want it. I want it coming around, get it right to the edge there, all the way over here. This side, I had a feeling because this board I've put on there is a lot thinner than the other one, so it's got a bit of rattle. I'm going to have to be aware of that. A little bit tracing across the top there, okay? I'll wipe this brush, and then first I'll just come around the edges with it, just like so, getting it all in there. Done that. Now I'm going to wipe it again. Hopefully we don't get the blue in the middle destroyed. Yeah, it's going to destroy it if I do that all the way across, so I've got to come like this and into the middle that way, because I want the blue in the middle still. I don't want to lose that. If I went all the way across, see how it's done here, it'll put that colour all the way there, and I don't want to do that. I'll just artistically move it where I want it with this darker colour. Now this is wet, damp, retarded still. I want to get my moon right in the middle, so I want to start creating the clouds like portholing outwards. And the easiest way I find to do that is work out how big you want your moon and leave a gap between your moon and the porthole edge of the clouds. So I want my moon about that big. So I'll start at the top, and I want some coming like this, creating that porthole vibe. This inside edge, see how my paint's getting all pushed down the brush and there's all blue there? I've got to try and find that white edge. See, I got it back again because I went to that part of the brush. There we go. And maybe this side here, something over here. I'll have to reload a few times. I'll grab a blending brush now and a kitchen towel, and I simply want to keep the inside edge tight and then just smear. Look at that turmoil. When you're twisting and dancing the brush like that, you get that beautiful realistic cloud whooshy kind of vibe. And we'll add yumminess to this as well. See, when my paint went up to the inside the bristles, I've lost a lot of the white. I'll have to come back, but that's okay. I want to just keep the edge. Make a nice bit here. And then there, twist the turmoil, create the vibe that you're looking for. Come around here to the edge, leaving the inside edge. Look, I'm leaving the inside edge, and then I'm twisting and turmoiling, bringing it into that dioxine and everywhere. Now I'm going to do this all the way around for the porthole. I've just done the bottom half of the clouds there. The camera wasn't on. I don't know. I've got to double check this now. I swore it was on, but it wasn't on when I did the bottom half. So what I've done there, I've done here, okay? Twisting it back with turmoil into the dioxine purple. Now we've got to add more to that. I just want to get some little bits here, giving this a 3D look. So I'm using the corner of the brush, not killing all the white, probably just a little bit here, because what I'm putting on is going to be blended back into the painting, maybe a bit there. I'll do that just for now so you see what's happening. Leaving the vibrancy of it there, don't kill it all. It's all practice, lots of practice. You can do it with your eyes shut. Now down here I want to get a bit more bigger, coming within. I want to start digging into that dioxine purple now. There we go. Creating lots of billowy stuff here. I'll stop about there. Leaving the top and dragging the bottom half down into the painting. See how I had gaps? I want that so as it's kind of adding dimension to your clouds. I don't want to go back into that half now, it's done. Because I want to get some purpley, see how that's blue vibe? I want to get the dioxine vibe going down here as well. Twist, turmoil, add luster and love within your clouds there. I do want just a little bit now, pillowing up here, coming down, and then something coming here and back over there. What I'm trying to create is that colour to that dark purple and some light cloud, fluffing it back here. There we go. And then we can add yumminess to all of this. Same again. Leaving that hard white edge there and gingerly, carefully twisting it back into this wet retarded sky paint. And then we'll add the yumminess. And if you don't know what my yumminess is, I'm about to show you. Look at it, analyse it, fix up any iffity-affity bits that you're not happy with. Now for the yumminess, I've just got a smaller fan brush, hog bristle to be exact. I'm picking up that same titanium white, and I want to see now, look, let's just touch up where we want some yumminess. About here, I want something just vibrating out here somewhere. I will grab a smaller brush to push that back and blend it. I'll just use one of my smaller blending brushes. And just sit that down, but leaving the actual vibrancy of it there. Now look, in the middle of your cloud where they're a bit empty and boring, you can just add some subtle yumminess there, and on the same motion pull it back. Look at these here. I want this nice and bright here, so what I want to do is smash it with a bit more yumminess right there, and then just dance that back into the mid-tone value there. There we go. And that's all we're doing. Look at that. Where else do you feel the light's hitting it? Let's say this mound here. So I'm putting it on in that round, motionally round vibe like that, see? And then this bit here, that can come over. This paint is all still wet, it's not dry. You don't want it dry when you paint clouds like this. And once you do this method, you can paint any shape cloud you want. Now, I don't know, I'm looking here, I can probably sneak a little bit in here. So I'll get it on there and bring it in a bit. I'll wipe that. Now that's dried up a lot more because I haven't played with it as much, so I won't go back into there, but you get an idea of what I'm talking about. I've dried the canvas. I simply got I had another one of these water tubs. I turned it upside down and cut a circle. Use anything you can to create a circle the size of your moon. This size is appropriate for the size canvas that I'm using, and I want it in the middle about here. Okay, so I'm going to use a low tack tape. I've dried everything, and I want to put that, let's say, about in the middle, but probably up here a bit. In the middle and probably up there a bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to paint the moon. Now you can use anything to paint the moon in. I'm just going to try and use my finger, so I'm just grabbing this thick paint here, and I want mainly from that point there to be the half of the moon. So let's just see if this is going to work. Now I sprayed water on my paint. That's too wet, let me dry it. So down here again, that was too wet. So I'm going to use my deer foot to be easier for the tutorial's sake. So I'm going to just prime it up with this white here, because when you're painting on a stencil, you don't want to wipe. If anything, you want to stamp. So I'll come to the moon there, just dance it on to the edge there. Now the good thing about this, if you get any bleeding going underneath, you can get a detailed brush and just fine tune it. Now I'm going to try and create, see that bit of white there that was watery? Now I'm going to try and create the fading half of it. So what I'll do, because the paint dried up too quick, so I've got that there, wiping it. I'll try my finger first. And just getting a soft edge there. It's not too good, so I'll just fade it with this. There we go. Now I'm going to pick up that grey that's in there. I want to mix it with the white because I don't want it too strong. I don't want it too dark grey. I just want it light grey. There we go. Now I want to create the darker shadowy side, which is here. That can just like that. It doesn't have to be sharp. There we go. Now we're going over that white because that white was our primer. And then we're just teasing it on there till you're happy with the darkness and the highlights, whatever. We'll dry this and then we'll just simply highlight the bright side of the moon. Now I've cleaned that brush. I'm grabbing just the white only. I don't want none of that grey mixed in there. Just pure white. Just so I can get me edge here nice and white. There we go. I've dried the moon from about there. I can use my finger just to taper that back. Play with it. There's no rush to get that stencil off. Let the magic happen before you pull the stencil off. I want a bit more white there. You can even have some pockets of white just coming right across the other bit, like not in a line but in the center there. And now I'm going to just kind of manipulate that as well. I'm not in a hurry to pull this template off. I just want to take my time, make sure it's perfect. And with my finger, I can kind of create bits of moon vibe within there. Okay, we'll pull that tape off now. And we got an okay moon. I'm getting a little bit of the dioxine, which is down here. There we go. I want to mix that with the white just to get that purpley vibe there. Not too bright though. And I just want to dance some of this across the moon, because that's the, let's say about here somewhere. Just somewhere there. And if you feel you need to use your finger, or you want to use your finger, you can do that. And it's just not a boring, simple, flat moon. It's got some kind of dimension, and see that flavour of the sky within it. You know, you get blue moons, blood moons, whatever colour moons. This is what this is. It's one of those moons, but your moon. Just making it so you can see. Now I can see lots of little dots. I'm just kind of smearing them in. And that's how easy it is to put pride and charisma in your work.
That was too easy, Ian. That's really good.
Okay, now you can see I've got a small flat detailed brush. I'm grabbing some of the dioxine purple, getting it in the bristles of the brush. Then I want to wipe it off so it's not so hard. Come over to the moon, and if you want to go this extra mile, put some light, scrumbly bits and bobs within your moon like this. So we've got, I haven't dried it yet, so maybe I should have dried it. I will dry it a little bit. That's a bit better. Just getting bits and bobs. Now this is the phthalo blue. Let me look in the monitor there. Just like that. Now I'll get the dioxine purple on its own to get a real darker vibe of that phthalo blue mixed. And see some of those big pockets you've just put on? Let's say the 11 o'clock, 12 and 11 o'clock. I just want to kind of get a little bit of a dark vibe coming there within those bits there. Because as you know, lights need darks to complement them. You know, like when you're doing pebbles and stones and bits and bobs. And we've just added some darker value within those lighter craters there. I don't know if I should be doing this, but you know how they have those lines there. Now I've got pure titanium white, the thickest stuff, on that little brush. Now I showed you doing this and I feel, well, I've done too much. I've got this on there, kind of like a knife action, and I just want to kind of sit some of that stuff down just with some of this. You know, like when you've done something and you squint your eyes and it looks that little bit better. I feel that's a bit too much there. And at the end of the day, when you're looking at this for the first time, not knowing what was done, you won't realise mistakes were fixed. And it's just given it a bit more realistic vibe, I feel. Just so you can see what's actually happening, I'm just vibing it up. It feels like this bit here's gone around behind the shadow there. Like this bit here. There we go. Now just to sit that moon there, we're going to put one small cloud here, like a misty, smoky type of cloud, just hovering in front of the moon there to sit it back. So I'm going to grab some of that white paint. It can have a little bit of the blue in it, I suppose, not too much. And I want to just get this kind of tainted in the brush. So I'm going to start, let's see, it's a bit too much. There we go. I'm just taking most of that paint off first. And now I want to just do it with this front of the moon onto the sky. And it's See what's happening? Front there, a little bit more on the brush, and bring it out into this open bit here. You know, you could probably have a little floaty bit there.
Just be careful not to get too carried away.
I feel I'm getting carried away. Soft floating cottony clouds there. Now I'm grabbing my brush that I can stamp some decent tree foliage on. My Deerfoot's a little bit too small for the footprint, so I'm going to drag this into my shrub brush, one that you can get things like that. Now I want to come from, let's say, the bottom. Now look at that, it's just not inky enough, so I've got to get a bit more on my brush. Go again. Because see, if it's not inky enough, see how that's a thick blob? You don't want it blobby, you want it open within there. You want to see the sky within this stuff. So get it inky enough, and we'll just try again here. That's better. So I'll dance a bit just up there, like so. I want it kind of like a bullet-shaped head there, but I'm twisting my brush so I don't get a uniform pattern there. I probably want something around here with a gap between that and this. Simple gap. Okay, the edges can start being a lot darker than they need to be. So when you come over these clouds, you want to see through them. Look at this. You can do it. Up over here we'll get it dark. Okay, dark in the corner, and then kind of gingerly bring this across your sky. My cable for that switch was rattling against. Now bringing some branches just towards the center there, but not too thick, not too heavy. I just feel this is the quickest way I can get all these leaves on here. I'm coming from the top, pushing it down into the painting there. Trying to get rid of any random patterns. If anything, I want a tree over this side. So I'm going to have it kind of thick, but seeing through the thickness of it all, and just tapering out into the open there a little bit. Coming here, I'm following a branch coming down my painting there. It's going to be a branch there. We can have something nice and dark here. Start off with your dark bits, and then you can ginger it up so as you're not getting big, thick, ugly pieces of paint everywhere. Something just there. At the moment, it's not connected with the branches. I'm going to connect it with the branches next, and you'll see what's happening. Now I want this a bit darker here. Just to give you a centre of the painting, a bit of nice, lovely bullshit, I want the slightest little bits, just probably a tingering in front of that moon there. There we go, just something out there like that, because these are going to be connected with minute little stick branches. Now from this point on, it's a matter of making your branches come out, so I probably want something coming out here. Get your paint to a nice consistency. Something here, random. Something here, random, coming over there. Now, it's important to play with your paint till it's inky enough, but still thick enough to get all these beautiful, convincing little twigs and branches everywhere. Okay, just joining up all this nonsense here. Now as you're doing it, it's quite easy to get caught making it look all flat, trying to get it coming over and like, you know, something here coming all the way over from that one there, twisting around. Try to get that happening within these instead of them looking like a flat fan of coral. See, just like that. Also, for a bit of drama, you could probably just put a lone, let's say here, bit of a note on it, a lone stick, nice straight one, just sticking out as well. Some of these look good And just take your time putting all these little twigs and sticks and branches in there. Some of this little, see these dots here, you can come from them, come back from there and join them up into the branch. Doing this kind of stick, tree, branch, twig stuff can be very frustrating, but if you allow yourself the time and the patience to do it, you get beautiful stick fine art. I love it. Sometimes I remember in my journey I was too impatient to do this stuff, but at the end of the day, why rush your journey? Enjoy that journey and create some bullshit on the way. It's fantastic. Just want to come over from this side and create probably a, see with these, get them like that. I'll detail the inside of that in off camera, but I'll get the main body of it there just so you can see what I'm doing. We want kind of a up, pull up, get a branch out there. You know, we're going to have some littler ones in the background here. Stretch your trees, stretch them out. All the way up. I want something prancing out here. Stuff out here. All the main stuff. Forking in and out. Okay, they're my main trunks. So I've thickened them up. Now I'm just adding all these little branches coming out to all this stuff here. Now you don't want to gap in your branch like that. It's always good in between trunks as well. Get busy stuff crossing all over it like this. Just makes up for good detail within your trunks. Look at that, see how easy that was? But so long, stop and analyse it, because if it looks too crisscrossy, you can sort of come off some of them and, I don't know, put a different vibe within them so it's not looking too unnatural. And now I'm just going to join a lot of this out here like so, from here down. And if anything, you can see everything's kind of coming out of this mass, pointing to the moon. Now, a good piece of free value you can add to your paintings, I just like doing it. I've done a few, have a look, and just put some, the ones sticking right out, I like putting nodes on them. I call it nodes, okay? And it just adds more life ready to grow within these dead twigs. They're going to start growing more shoots or whatever. And to me, you know, you got a branch sticking in there, put a node on it. Okay, now take your eyes to the right hand side of the painting. Grab the point of your, I've already done one there, and have a look. We're just going to start adding simple, free and affordable bullshit. These are like some clusters of leaves within this tree. If anything, they're wide within, and I'm kind of giving them a banana shape out to some kind of scattered point like that. And all we're doing is adding pockets of this charisma within our foliage there, and by the time I finished it, you will see that it's added quite lovely vibe to your outlook. It's just looking more leafy. There's nothing better than seeing a tree that looks absolute leafy without being overdone. You know, they're just laying in front of the view there. Look how easy that is to do. Knowing what you can do with a bit of practice, you can do. If some look too weird, join them up with a stick. Look at that. Back into the painting. Just over this side here, I want to add some camouflaged detail. And what I mean by that is anything you feel's a bit iffity-affity, just camouflage it with detail. So I'm going to put these kind of leaves here. Now maybe we'll see it at the end in the photo, or maybe we're not, but just after analysing it, you see those bits that are like need more detail within them. I'm just adding these leaves. I'm just going to sign this, and I want to thank all my YouTube members. Hit the join tab if you see it, if you want to become a member. I want to thank you for supporting my content for the price of a cup of coffee, and I want to thank my Patreons who support me every month as well. There's a Patreon tab in the description tree. Hit that and support me every month if you want to support my content, and enjoy the perks those two give you. Okay, let's whack a frame on that and see how she looks. There we go, that's not too shabby. We've got a night moonlit forest tree opening in the sky there, and I know you can do it. Well, exciting, different and interesting, okay? Be sure to tell your friends if you like what I'm doing, but if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Also check out this other video of mine and subscribe. Goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.